18 hours. A Russian officer commanding 290 vehicles believes he has 6 minutes until safety. He has 4 minutes to live. 11 Ukrainian drones worth barely $6,500 total versus a convoy carrying ammunition for 9,847 troops. The Kijijak Reeboth drones clamped under the bridge don't need pilots. They don't need GPS. Their onboard AI has been waiting 72 hours for one encrypted signal. But Moscow's generals made one fatal assumption about where drone attacks come from. And that miscalculation is about to cost them their entire southern strategy. Here's what Moscow didn't see coming. Washington peace talks start in 96 hours. Russia's negotiating position? This convoy. Over 300 vehicles stretching 5 miles across the Dnipro River, carrying enough firepower to keep 10,000 soldiers fighting for months. Lose this? Russia's southern front collapses in 3 days. The Kremlin's diplomatic leverage vanishes overnight. Ukraine's betting everything on 11 pieces of hardware that cost less than a used Honda Civic. And those drones? They've been playing dead for 3 full days, camouflaged as corroded bridge maintenance gear nobody looks at twice. 2 hours and 26 minutes. Russian command celebrates. Their Pantsir-S1 systems create a defensive dome stretching 12 miles in every direction. Nebo-M radar arrays scan for threats 370 miles out. On paper, nothing gets through. In reality, they're scanning the wrong place. Every sensor points up. Zero coverage below. It's the equivalent of installing a state-of-the-art security system and forgetting to lock the basement door. But here's what makes this terrifying. These drones don't just follow orders. They think. For 72 hours, their AI calculated every variable, predicted every Russian response, and waited for the one moment when physics and psychology would converge into total annihilation. The trap hinges on something pathetic. Russian military procurement. Those trucks rolling across the bridge? They're riding on tires so cheap they're already shredding apart. Intelligence knew this. Ukrainian analysts pored over maintenance logs stolen from Russian supply depots. The AI factored in tire degradation rates, convoy weight distribution, bridge surface temperature. It predicted down to the minute when those failing tires would force the convoy to stop. Right in the center span, right where the killing blow lands. Binary outcome time. Convoy makes it across, Moscow resupplies their entire southern offensive and walks into Washington with a gun to Ukraine's head. Convoy doesn't make it, 10,000 Russian soldiers run dry in 72 hours, and Putin's negotiators have nothing. In a bunker 40 miles away, the Ukrainian operator's screen shows one word in green. Optimal. The Russian convoy has positioned itself exactly where the AI predicted 71 hours ago. His hand hovers over a single key. Once pressed, there's no stopping what comes next. He exhales and commits. A data burst. 1 millisecond. Encrypted beyond Russian capability to intercept. Under the bridge, 11 dormant machines receive their wake-up call. 0358 hours. The operator's decision transforms into mechanical action. Electromagnetic locks release. 11 Kijijak units drop into freefall. Motors engage 2 feet above the water surface. The sound, completely drowned by 8,000 tons of Russian steel rumbling overhead. Russian radio chatter confirms ignorance. Checkpoint reached. Halfway across, 0 contacts. Everything's clear. Everything's not clear. The drones split into hunter-killer cells without human input. 6 units target ammunition carriers clustered at Convoy Center. 4 units lock onto unarmored fuel transports. The final pair? Command vehicles. Decapitation strike. They navigate using LiDAR mapping, threading through bridge girders with hundreds of micro-corrections per second. It's autonomous surgical precision. No radio signals to jam. No GPS to spoof. Just AI reading its environment and adapting. 0401 hours. The drones close to 900 yards from strike position. Technologies performing flawlessly, executions perfect. Then, the human variable enters. The entire multi-million-dollar operation now depends on human boredom. One Russian soldier leaning over the rail at the wrong second ends everything. The drones are 900 yards from attack position. 38 Russian soldiers are above them. Statistically, someone should look down. But will they? Inside a cramped Pantsir truck, a junior lieutenant sees something. Not a contact. Electronic fuzz. Digital noise. The kind you dismiss 99 out of 100 times. His finger hovers over the active targeting button. Protocol says, ignore it. But something feels wrong. He doesn't dismiss it. Against protocol, he switches to active targeting pulse. His screen erupts. Clean lock. He fires without asking permission. A 57E6 missile worth $150,000 screams downward. It obliterates a Ukrainian decoy worth $50. Spectacular fireball, completely meaningless destruction. But it does one thing, it wakes everyone up. Then everything goes wrong. A $150,000 Russian missile vaporizes the decoy in a fireball visible for miles. Alarms shriek across every radio channel. The element of surprise is gone. The mission, according to every military doctrine, is over. Except the Ukrainians planned for this exact failure. Contact below the bridge. Radio networks explode with panicked transmissions. Brake lights flash red down the entire convoy line. Orderly military movement becomes gridlock chaos. Soldiers who were half asleep now have adrenaline dumping into their systems. The ghosts just announce themselves. How do you attack a target that knows you're hunting it? Watch what happens next. The lieutenant who fired? Hero for 3 seconds. Then his target vanishes. Screen shows nothing but clutter returns and electronic garbage. He's trying to reacquire, but he's shooting at shadows. The AI doesn't panic. It executes Protocol Delta 7. The drones snap into a perfect 90-degree turn, exploiting a physics loophole that Russian engineers never considered. To the Pantsir sensors, 11 $580 drones simply vanish like they never existed. It's the electronic equivalent of turning invisible by standing perfectly still. Think police radar gun. It measures your speed based on whether you're approaching or departing. Drive perfectly perpendicular to the radar beam? Your relative velocity reads 0. The Pantsir's computer filters out stationary objects as background noise. The drones just became part of the bridge structure in the system's digital brain. But Ukraine doesn't just hide, they blind. One drone activates its jammer, flooding the Pantsir's receivers with X-band static. The lieutenant's display goes from cluttered to pure white noise. Imagine a flashbang detonating inside your optic nerve. That's what he's experiencing electronically. And here's the genius move. The AI predicted a 97% probability that getting detected would cause the convoy to stop completely. Intelligence on Russian tire quality made this calculation possible. So while Russians sit blind, confused, stuck in self-imposed gridlock, the drones don't press the attack. They slip back under the bridge girders, reset, wait for the perfect opening. They've survived round 1. Proven they're not cheap toys. Shown they're fighting with technology Moscow can't match. But they've also revealed their presence. And a humiliated Russian officer is about to escalate dramatically. Then Russia plays its trump card. 70 miles away at 32,000 feet, a $330 million aircraft built specifically to hunt invisible threats powers up its systems. The Beriev A-50. When this thing looks down, stealth doesn't exist. The game just changed completely, and the Ukrainians know it. If the Pantsir is a guard with a flashlight, the A-50 is command flipping on stadium floods. Its Schmel radar doesn't care about ground clutter, doesn't care about beam angles. It looks straight down and sees everything. Drone heat signatures against cold concrete, they light up like highway flares. The blinded Pantsir's screen suddenly clears. New symbol appears. Top-down targeting data piped directly from the A-50. The Phantoms are back in the crosshairs, and it gets worse. That same targeting stream feeds to an S-400 battery 50 miles out. Those computers don't hesitate. Verified track from the A-50? Launch authorized. Ukrainian operator's screen flashes a warning. Missile inbound. This isn't anti-aircraft ordnance. This is a hypersonic interceptor designed to kill supersonic jets. And it's hunting $600 drones. The AI faces checkmate. Stealth's compromised. Jamming's useless against the A-50's frequency. Missile impact in seconds. 0404 hours. S-400 launch confirmed. Missile closing at Mach 8. 5-second countdown to impact. Russian A-50 operators are already marking this as a confirmed kill. The drone AI doesn't try to run. You don't outrun physics. Instead, it executes Protocol Omega-7. Contingency plan for this exact nightmare. A small hatch opens on the drone's belly. A fiber optic tow line unspools in under 1 second. 100 feet of cable. At the end, a device the size of a beer can. The ALE-50 towed decoy. And this thing's a brilliant liar. It doesn't just emit heat. It samples the incoming S-400's radar signature and broadcasts back an amplified echo 100 times stronger than the drone itself. To the missile's seeker, it's like hunting a rabbit and suddenly a grizzly bear appears right next to it screaming for attention. The 48N6DM missile locks onto the juicier target, violently changes course. 3 seconds later, Russia's most advanced air defense missile, worth more than 3 American houses, detonates against a decoy built from Radio Shack parts and fishing line. The shockwave ripples outward at 26,000 feet per second. The thermal flash registers 3,400 degrees Fahrenheit for exactly 0.8 seconds. On the A-50, Russian operators watch their ultimate weapon get defeated by what's essentially a beer can on a string. The humiliation is just beginning, but here's the real genius. The S-400's high-altitude detonation wasn't a failure for Ukraine. It was a signal. A perfectly timed fireworks display that told every Russian air defense unit in a 50-mile radius to look up. Every radar dish tilts skyward. Every operator watches the fading explosion. Every eye tracks the sky. And this is where Ukrainian intelligence turns Russian strength into catastrophic weakness. While every radar, every sensor, every Russian eye stares upward at the fireball, the screen in the Ukrainian bunker displays one word: execute. The distraction wasn't a failure. It was the final piece of the trap. 0406 hours. 11 drones stop hiding. They rocket upward from beneath the bridge. Electric motors scream at maximum output. This isn't stealth anymore. It's a sprint. And they're not aiming for the trucks. They're aiming for the concrete underneath them. Internal navigation systems, immune to any jamming, lock coordinates with 3-foot accuracy. First drone impacts the primary support column directly under the lead ammunition carrier. Shaped charge penetrates 2 feet of reinforced concrete in a nanosecond. Then the next. Then the next. 10 more impacts along the bridge spine. Mathematical precision. Cold. Calculated. Total coordination time? 1.3 seconds. But here's the genius that military analysts are still studying. The drone warheads delay detonation for exactly 1.1 seconds. Why that precise timing? Because the drones were never the weapon. They were just the key. The real weapon was 1.1 million pounds of Russian ammunition they were transporting. Ukraine was about to make Russia destroy itself. The 1.1 second delay creates a pressure chamber. The space between river surface and bridge deck becomes a containment vessel. The shaped charge detonations, instead of dissipating into open air, reflect off water and concrete. The pressure wave amplifies. 5,000 psi of pure destructive force with nowhere to go but through the bridge's structure. Those support columns, engineered to handle vertical load. Millions of pounds pressing down. But this is horizontal force. Unimaginable lateral pressure. The concrete doesn't crack. It disintegrates. Rebar snaps like toothpicks. The columns don't bend. They atomize. But the collapsing bridge is just the opening act. The unsupported roadbed fractures, falls away, tips the first ammunition truck into the blast epicenter. Its cargo? Equivalent to 100 pounds of TNT. It ignites. Chain reaction tears through the convoy's ammunition vehicles. Within seconds, 1.1 million pounds of Russian ordnance becomes Ukraine's weapon. The fireball climbs 2,100 feet into the night sky. The blast wave shatters windows in villages 3 miles away. Seismic sensors 40 miles out register it as a 2.1 magnitude earthquake. Russia just destroyed itself. The aftermath was absolute. 9,847 Russian troops stranded with 68 hours of ammunition remaining. Moscow's leverage for the Washington peace talks vaporized in under 6 minutes. Total Ukrainian cost, barely $9,000. Total Russian loss, incalculable. Modern warfare just learned a brutal lesson. Victory doesn't belong to whoever brings the most firepower. It belongs to whoever thinks 3 moves ahead. The Dnipro River scene, total annihilation. Where a bridge once stood, there's now a half-mile gap of fire and shattered metal. The convoy's heart is gone. The survivors are stranded on both banks. Useless. On the strategic map, it's even more devastating. Russian command structure for the entire southern front gets instantly decapitated. Supply lines severed. 10,000 soldiers, with less than 3 days of supplies remaining. Moscow's bargaining chip for Washington, wiped from the board in under 5 minutes. Ukraine just proved something that's rewriting military doctrine worldwide. In 21st century warfare, you don't win by bringing more steel. You win by being smarter, by turning your enemy's strength into their weakness, by making them destroy themselves. For less than $10,000 in autonomous drones, Ukraine vaporized Russia's entire southern strategy and their diplomatic position. This is why the Pentagon is completely restructuring its approach to autonomous systems. The 2024 budget allocates $4.7 billion specifically to counter-drone and drone swarm technology. Naval exercises in the Pacific now include mandatory asymmetric threat scenarios exactly like this one. NATO Doctrine got rewritten 3 months after this operation. The lesson? Expensive doesn't mean effective, and the side that adapts fastest wins. You're the Russian Convoy commander at 2:26 hours. Your Pantsir-S1 systems show 0 threats. Your A-50 confirms all clear, but intelligence intercepts suggest 11 cheap drones are somewhere near the bridge. Do you A, trust your $200 million air defense network and proceed on schedule, or B, halt the entire convoy, delay the mission 12 hours, and risk losing your command for paranoia over $6,500 worth of hardware? Drop A or B in the comments and explain your tactical reasoning. I read every response. If you appreciate these deep dive breakdowns that go beyond headlines into actual tactical analysis, hit that like button. It tells YouTube to recommend this to more viewers who are fascinated by how modern warfare actually works. Subscribe to Ocean Alert and hit the notification bell for weekly breakdowns of the military operations reshaping warfare doctrine. Every episode, we analyze the tactics, the technology, and the split-second decisions that determine victory. No fluff, no speculation. Just the operational details that matter. Over 500,000 subscribers trust us to uncover these stories. Join them.